Do you have a bulging disc and you can't squat or overhead press or do other fun, great exercises? Watch this.
Next caller is Scott from California.
Scott, what's happening, man? How can we help you?
So I'm a firefighter for the city of Sacramento, and I recently started anabolic. But with my schedule, I work 48 hours, and then I have 96 hours off. And I'm trying. How do I fit anabolic into my schedule, where I, because basically when I'm at work for 2 days, there's no way I can, find an hour and a half to work out. I can barely squeeze in like half hour sometimes.
Scott, did you hear the episode we did for you guys?
No, I didn't.
We did an episode specific for you guys. It's called First Responders, Doug?
Yeah, I think it was a First Responders episode.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up.
So I think it's, I'll have Doug look it up right now.
So what I would say with this, Scott, is when you look at the workouts, you can break them up and do them as they're appropriate for you.
We talk about that in the episode.
Yeah. So if you have like a phase one, foundational workout, and you only have 30 minutes to do some of it, do that portion, save the rest for the next time that you have the ability to work out. And of course, you need to judge whether or not it's appropriate for you to work out based on your sleep and how you feel. Because I know you guys go through periods of like where you don't get no sleep, you are up all night. And then there's periods where you're at the station and you've got more time and nothing's really going on type of deal. So you got to judge it that way and do the workout and then just mark where you finished. I got to stop right here. So what I have left, and now I'm at shoulder press. So the next workout, the next opportunity, you finish the workout there. And it's totally fine. It's totally fine to do it that way.
We get into, and the episode is 1487, the best way for first responders to stay in shape. And we actually give several different options in that, if I recall. Like one of them was the option that Sal just said, and then we talked about different programs of ours, how we would run them, how would we program. And so that's a great episode. It was literally created for you guys specifically because this was a very popular question we used to get. So make sure you check that episode out.
Yeah, and then Scott, because I love what you guys do for a living so much, I want to send you a free program. I really would like to send you MAP suspension, because this will allow you to have the ability to do exercises and workouts at home with a suspension trainer. So just to add another level of convenience to help you stay consistent.
Yeah, that'd be great. So I was wondering, the 2 days, should I do a hit? Because I've just got your hit, MAPS hit too. Should I do that maybe for one of the days and break it up that way, or just? You
can. I would prefer you follow one program at a time. Because we didn't write MAPS Anabolic or MAPS HIT with other programs in mind, in the sense that people are all doing them at the same time. When we write a program, it's that program. So ideally, you do one full program, and so do what kind of do what I said, where you're doing some of the workout, and then I got to stop here at I got to stop at bicep curls, and I'll continue this workout the next time I can train. MAPS suspension. The reason why I like that a lot is because the full workouts are relatively short. It's a suspension trainer, and I'm sure there's going to be opportunities, or times I should say, where you don't even have time to get access to equipment, but you got a suspension trainer you can fit in your trunk. You could hook it up right away and do 20-minute workout.
Well, actually, luckily enough, we have suspension trainers at our firehouses, so that's perfect.
Oh, nice.
I figure.
Very nice.
And especially because you work in California, you guys save our lives out there at the looks like we have fires all the time now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yep.
I have a follow-up question too. So I have a bulging disc at T5, and what would be an alternative exercise to like back squats or overhead press? And then are deadlifts, are they gonna hurt me? Or I know back squats hurt me, and I know I can't really do anything overhead right now. So are deadlifts kind of recommended, or should I try something else for that too?
What's interesting about bulging discs is if you were to take 100 people and image them, you would find a good percentage of them with bulging discs, and then a good percentage of them with no symptoms, and some with symptoms. And then you would see people who have nothing at all and have pain. It's very interesting, okay? So there's a huge individual variance with this kind of stuff. Now, you've already identified a couple exercises that just do not work for you, in which case I would say don't do them. So for back squats, you could do front squats. You could do lunges, Bulgarian split stance squats. Those are all good. Overhead presses, I would look at lateral raises, front raises. But what I would try to do so the problem with overhead presses, that's a functional movement. So really try to figure out a way to get yourself to be able to do those without pain. I don't mean force yourself, but find correctional exercises and stretches and movements that allow you to start moving in that overhead position with very, very light weight, so you could build it, because it's a functional move. You need to be able to reach overhead.
Yeah.
Is it, I just know I can't use a bar.
Okay.
If I've been doing it, actually, I'll do one arm. And that seems
that's
like
what I was going to suggest. If you felt any pain with dumbbells with just one arm.
Oh, there you go.
Or you even like seated and supported, in that position with dumbbells. I mean, at least if you're getting that kind of resistance for overhead, that's a staple movement that you need to keep and maintain.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, man.
And then what about deadlifts? Like, because I really haven't done deadlifts in a long time, and I don't know.
I would like you to do them. I would like you to do them, but we would just the conversation you and I would have if you were a client would be focused on form and slowing down and all technique. Like I don't want you pushing. I don't want you pushing the weight and risking form breaking down. Like form becomes extremely. But the benefits of deadlifting when you have a bulge disc like that can be tremendous. Which sounds counter to what you would hear from like your general practitioner, your doctor. Your doctor would be, oh God, you have a bulge disc. Stay away from those things. Well, the truth is, your core wraps around your spine and supports it, and nothing is going to stabilize and strengthen your core like deadlifts that. So the idea of you ignoring it or doing something instead of it, I would prefer us doing it just with caution. Like, hey, let's just really get really, really good with the form and technique and slow the reps down. And so I would want you to do it, but I also would be with you, so I'd get to see that. Yeah. So that's the only.
And you said it's up in the thoracic area, right? You said T4 or T5?
Thoracic
T5, right?
Thoracic 5.
Yeah. So I mean, you got that stabilization you're going to build with deadlifts up in that area and that kind of upper mid back area with the scapula. I would just it's all about perfect form. Mm-hmm. Stay super stable. And I wouldn't exaggerate any movements like rows. I wouldn't exaggerate overhead presses. Slowly work your way into full range of motion, perfect form. You can be very cautious. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with being very cautious. And what'll end up happening is you'll end up developing muscle recruitment patterns that are going to work around, not just around your injury, but it will support it and prevent it from getting any worse, and maybe even make it a lot better. At least that's been my experience. So,
Scott, I want to give you some more stuff. I'm going to give you. I want Doug to give you MAPS Prime. I want you to do zone 1, zone 2, zone 3 test. There's a test in there. I also okay. Oh, have you done it? You got it?
Yeah, I failed everything.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I failed all 3 zones.
Oh, okay.
Failed it all.
Okay. So the movements in there, I think, the fortification sessions and stuff. This might, and I know Sal gave you the suspension trainer to kind of introduce and have you do some of that. I actually would like you doing more fortification stuff on the times that's a great
that
idea. You have like 15, 20 minutes or whatever like that. I would love that, because we want to get to a place, like my goal for you would be to get to a place that we can squat, we can deadlift comfortably, we can overhead press comfortably. We recognize we can't right now. We recognize we fail all the tests, but that's what those fortification sessions are. Those become your best friend. Like that's your go-to. When you got a little bit extra time, a little extra energy, do those workouts to
the
work.
More you can brace and get rigid and have control over that and keep reinforcing that kind of pattern, the better we're going to be when we keep adding load eventually as we go up.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
I don't know if I got time for one more question, but what supplements do you guys use for recovery?
Oh,
because I'm old. I'm 50, so I need to pull every trick out of the handbook. Both there.
I mean, if your protein intake is adequate, you're getting good sleep, creatine will help with recovery. Ashwagandha, an adaptogen, you might get some benefit. Rhodiola, you might get some benefit, maybe a little bit of a stimulant effect from that. But you're not going to get a huge effect from supplements. It's mostly going to be about sleep and proper intensity. And what you're going to find is as you get older, you're just going to have to modify the intensity a little bit more. That's and your job is quite demanding, or can be quite demanding. So I would it's all about managing the intensity, and you'll get great results. So you're still within the age of being able to get great PRs, great results. I mean, that doesn't really you don't really have to start issues with that until you get into your 60s. I know guys that hit PRs in their 50s. So But it's going to be about managing and monitoring the intensity and the sleep. Nothing's going to touch that.
Scott, you ever play with cold plunge? You ever do ice baths?
No,
therapy
for that. Like, actually, I've done cryo a little bit, but it's been a while since
I mean, that'll bring down the inflammation real quick. Plus, I think there's some carryover to that type of training for you too, just into what you do for a living. So, yeah, and it's free, right? Other than getting some ice and throwing it in a bathtub or whatever like that, it's not something that expensive. I would try to include some of that into your life. See how you feel from that.
Okay, cool.
Yep. All right, man. Thanks for calling in, Scott.
All right, thank you.
Very demanding schedule. I have a friend I just started hanging out with who's a firefighter, and he kind of explains the schedule. Very similar, right? He's in California also. And I'm like, what's it like? And he's like, either nothing or it's crazy.
All go.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's really hard to get on any kind of a regular schedule because you get back from where you were putting out literal fires. Mm-hmm. You ain't working out the day after. You got that whole day after. You got to rest and recover.
Yeah, that day after a lot of times is just trying to recuperate and get your bearings back.
He's a type of client that I wish like I had, like, so I could, because the things that we told, like, go ahead, stop the squatting, go to Bulgarian squats, do the dumbbell press instead of the overhead press. But this is stuff that we could fix, dude. Like, this is stuff that we could get to the bottom of it and start addressing.
I mean, how many clients did you guys have with bulging discs?
Yeah,
right.
It was common.
Probably like 20, 30%.
Yeah. So, that's when and of course, the safe, smart, professional answer is for us to say, hey, let's, do this instead of that. But if you were my client, like, I would want to get to the root cause of this. I would want to work on it. And then my programming would even shift on like right now, and even that episode and the advice we give is like, it's kind of around building muscle and losing body fat and like how to keep this routine up. But really, like, I would be like, listen, we want to get to a place where you can lift a barbell over your head. We want to get to a place where you can comfortably squat. So now, actually, my programming, I actually care less about having a full hour. Like, when we're doing movements, it is to get better at that, to get to a place where we can do that. So,
anywhere we can reinforce and bulletproof your joints, your back, like, this kind of stuff. That's the utmost importance.
Yeah, and people think that you're going to take this massive step back, or I'm not going to be able to get in shape that way. No, we're still doing strength exercises. We're still moving, we're still working. It's just we have a different goal right now, because once we get to that place where you can back squat, I've had clients with bulge discs deadlifting 400 pounds, dude. Yeah. So you can get to that.
Do you know how many people have bulge discs and they have no symptoms, and then people with symptoms who have nothing wrong with their discs? Yeah. Not saying obviously it can be an issue, but it's actually quite common.
There is a variance there for sure.
There is, and if you strengthen and stabilize the spine, I mean, I've seen lots. I've had lots of clients. I've had doctors with bulging discs who, through training, were like, "Man, I feel like there's nothing wrong anymore."